All right, let's talk about something that can quietly creep into even the most loving, long-term relationships. It's not about big fights or falling out of love. It's something more subtle. Today, we're diving into the work of writer D.R. Nair to explore a powerful idea he calls relationship fatigue.
So get this, the story that kicks this whole idea off is about a couple who decided to separate after 33 years together. And when people asked them why, their answer wasn't about anger or betrayal. It was just a deep, profound sense of being tired. This quote really sets the tone because it's not about a lack of love, it's about a lack of energy.
So what is this feeling, really? It's not some big dramatic blow-up. Nope. It's more like a slow, quiet drain on your battery. It's an emotional exhaustion that can settle over a partnership, even when, deep down, you still really care about each other.
Okay, let's put an official name to it. Relationship fatigue. Think of it like this. It's that feeling where you still love and care for your partner, but the simple act of being together all the time, that constant closeness, has just started to feel, well, heavy. The togetherness itself is what's making you tired.
Mr. Nair uses this absolutely brilliant metaphor to explain it. He says to imagine your relationship's emotional energy as like a joint bank account. Every small irritation that doesn't get talked about, every time you take each other for granted, that's a tiny little withdrawal. You don't really notice them day to day, but after years and years, those little debits add up. And one day you go to make a withdrawal and you find out the account is completely empty.
And this is a really important difference to understand. With fatigue, on the left, you just feel drained. You might feel a little distant, but the care is still there. What you really want is just some personal space. But on the right, when you're falling out of love, the feelings are much sharper. It's anger, or just not caring at all. You don't just want space, you kind of want to escape the person. See the difference? It's huge.
So, how can you tell if you're running on empty? This next part is a chance to just check in with yourself. The source gives us a kind of quiet checklist to help spot the signs before they turn into something bigger.
Just take a second and think about these as they pop up. Do you kind of take each other for granted these days? Do those little annoyances just sort of hang in the air now? Does one of you do most of the mental work, the invisible planning? Has that easy warmth been replaced with a little impatience? Do conversations just feel like more work than they used to? And here's the big one. Do you still care a lot, but also feel strangely distant? And finally, do you find yourself craving time alone, not to get away from them, but just to breathe?
And this brings us right back to where we started. This quote is really the heart of it all. It's not about some huge betrayal. It's about being deeply and completely tired of the dynamic, even when you're not tired of the person.
Okay, so if some of that sounded familiar, what do you do? Well, the good news is this isn't a terminal diagnosis for your relationship, not at all. Now we're going to look at some gentle, practical steps you can take to start refilling that emotional tank.
First step is the simplest and maybe the hardest. Just acknowledge it. Just name the feeling. It's exhaustion, not failure. Second, talk about your needs, but gently. No blaming. Third, make a real effort to share the load. Not just the chores you can see, but that invisible mental stuff too. And then there's this fourth step, which is absolutely crucial, creating personal space on purpose.
To really drive that point home, the author tells this fantastic story. He asked his architect friend, "What's the most important room in a house for a couple?" And the architect said, "The bathroom." The bathroom. Why? Because it's a private space. It's a place where you can be totally alone. It's such a perfect example of how even the best relationships need some walls, not just open doors. That space isn't a bad sign. It's a healthy one.
Here's another great way to think about it. Relationship fatigue is like a slow leak in a tire. You can keep driving on it for a while, sure, but if you don't stop and patch it up, you are going to end up completely flat. Intimacy just slowly drains away, and sometimes you don't even notice it's happening until it's gone.
It's so easy to see this whole thing as a sign that your relationship is failing, but the source here reframes it in a much more powerful way. Dealing with this fatigue isn't about fixing something that's broken, it's about showing your relationship is strong enough and mature enough to last.
So what does that look like? Well, it means setting your ego aside. It's about making small, gentle changes. It's about respecting that you're two different people with your own needs and priorities, and understanding that letting each other be individuals is actually what makes you stronger together.
And let's just land on this because it's so important. Recognizing that you're both tired isn't a sign of weakness. It is a mature act of love. It's an act of strength. It's the kind of work that lets love breathe and grow over decades.
So we'll leave you with this question. It doesn't have to be some big, serious talk. It can be small, it can be gentle,
but just taking a moment to look at each other and ask, hey, how are we doing? Really. That might be one of the most powerful things you can do. So, when was your last quiet check-in?